Independence celebrations begin with a walk for unity. Chinese national detained for overstaying visa. And Simbu province to host Cocoa of Excellence show. Good evening, this is Sunday's News. I'm Kilawani. Celebrations have started in Port Moresby to mark the country's 46th independence anniversary. Speaking during the launch, NCD Governor Papua called on city residents to stand united and celebrate as one people, one country. The celebration started early this morning with the Independence Walk for Unity.
NCD Governor Papua led the Unity Walk with other MPs, including Governor General Sir Bob Dadai. Accompanied by student representatives from various schools and the general public, they walked to Ella Beach from Gordon's to officially launch the city's independence celebrations. Governor Pakop described the last 46 years as a hard journey. However, he says the country can achieve more if we live up to the values set by the country's founding fathers.
So many trials and tribulation and mountain to climb and many issues to overcome. But most important thing is we are here still together 46 years on.
With COVID restrictions, there will be no cultural or traditional events. However, a float parade has been organized to represent the 22 provinces. NCDC has also invited a number of stage groups to perform. One is the Queen of Paradise Orchestra from Vanimo, West Sepik Province.
And for most of them, it's the first time to fly in a balloon and come to the city. So fighting along all, please.
The week-long celebrations will end on the 16th with a remembrance walk dedicated to the late Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare.
He's not here with us for the first time in the history of our nation. But we owe him a lot. His passion and his dream and his energy enable us to create this nation and take this journey 46 years on.
Happy Independence, PNG.
Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
A Chinese national who overstayed his visa and work permit for 3 years in Kimbe was arrested and detained last week. This followed a week-long spot check operation by the PNG Immigration Office to curb unlawful visa and work permits being used by foreign nationals. Chief Immigration Officer Stanis Hulahu said the Immigration Office will continue its operations and urged other relevant authorities to step up their efforts in ensuring all foreign-owned companies and businesses are compliant to domestic laws.
The Chinese man was arrested last week Thursday. He was caught working as a retail manager in a shopping center in Kimbe Town. He was escorted by immigration officers and flew to Port Moresby, where he is now being detained at the Bomana Immigration Center. He told immigration officers that he overstayed his visa because he is married to a local woman. However, Chief Immigration Officer Stanis Hulahu said foreign nationals should not rely on their PNG spouses with the hope of avoiding domestic laws. He will undergo further investigations before a decision is made for his removal from the country. The spot check operation targeted retail, wholesale and logging companies in West New Britain. Over 40 foreign nationals were penalized for various minor breaches of their visa conditions. They were all fined to a total of 150,000 kina. The spot check team also cited non-compliance of other PNG laws in the logging companies. The team reported unregistered fleets, including heavy-duty machineries and trucks. Mr. Hulahu says many foreign-owned companies operating in remote areas are breaching many laws and is urging all relevant authorities to step up their efforts in protecting the local workforce and the country's domestic laws. Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
Kundiawa in Simbu province will be bustling with cocoa farmers and stakeholders from all over the country come October as it plays host to the PNG Cocoa of Excellence show. It's said to be the biggest agriculture show ever, with a 1.2 million kina sponsorship from the Simbu provincial government. Prime Minister James Marape officially declared the show to be staged in Kundiawa town on the 7th to the 9th of October.
Prime Minister James Marape on Friday officially declared Kundiawa town in Simbu province as the next venue for the Cocoa of Excellence show. It's said to be the biggest cocoa show ever, with a 1.2 million kina sponsorship from the Simbu provincial government. But the Prime Minister also announcing that the National Gaming and Control Board will be the major sponsor for this prestigious agriculture show. The announcement made in front of government ministers, MPs, stakeholders in agriculture and the host provincial government.
We are already blessed. You're in the right room. You're in the right conversation. Let no oil or gas lenders discourage you. Let mining lenders discourage you. For those of you in the agricultural space, you're in the right place. Go for it. You're right behind you. God bless. All right, with this, I now officially launch the PNG Cocoa Excellence Show 2021, and I will get the National Gaming Board to be the official sponsor of this program up there in the Highlands. Thank you very much. God bless.
The Tonai people, they went up to Simbu and poisoned us. That's why we are here. They brought all the cocoa seedlings from Rabaul, cocoa research station, and they brought it up to Simbu, and they took it down to Karamui without informing us. And cocoa grew in Karamui. We never realized its potential until lately.
The Cocoa of Excellence show, as explained by the CEO of the PNG Cocoa Board, is the entry point to the International Cocoa of Excellence show.
It's our very own Cocoa of Excellence show that is aligned to the International Cocoa of Excellence show called the Salon de Chocolate. That's in France. PNG's top 6 winners in the last show in 2019, they are now in the competition. Amongst 150 samples in 124 countries. So this show in Simbu, Kundiawa, we will send 6 of our winners to that show.
The Prime Minister, including the Agriculture Minister, spoke of the government's investment in the sector, emphasizing on the opportunities and the direct benefits.
Papua New Guinea is so blessed. Because we're so blessed. If cocoa price is bad, we'll leave cocoa and we'll go into coffee. If coffee is bad, we'll leave it and we'll go into something else. We won't die. We said we'll survive. So you've got to really set a better price to bring Papua New Guineans to actually go into agriculture.
Garden will look after you. Our price support will remain. Our freight subsidy will remain. Our partnership with governments and districts will remain. And we're looking to go and tap into those who are directly already engaged in working themselves. Contribute a sweat capital. Government will link into facilities we are setting up so that agricultural produce can bring in the forex we need and empower our citizens.
The Cocoa of Excellence show will be staged from the 7th to the 9th of October in Kundiawa town.
But the most important objective of this show is to bring together cocoa farmers, farmer groups, exporters, processors, and stakeholders within the industry to compete as to identify best qualities and best origins.
Shamit Poriam of National EMTV News.
The Center for Excellence in Financial Inclusion and the PNG Institute of Banking and Business Management this week launched Papua New Guinea's first online microfinance digital course for microfinance professionals. A total of 23 participants from microfinance institutions and savings and loan societies will be the first to undergo the 3 to 6 month course exclusively online, with a 5-day workshop at the IBBM campus or using Zoom technology.
The new online course is aimed at helping staff and interested applicants to be successful in a dynamic environment and acquire new skills and build competence to meet the diverse needs of different customers. SEFI Executive Director Salia Ranasinghe said at the launching occasion, the objective is to leverage new skills in microfinance and technology with skilled human resource.
Microfinance services as a very important tool in reaching this very remote part. And we have seen the microbanks that are operating here today have shown a lot of innovation, especially delivering the digital financial services, getting agents in very remote parts of the country.
Bank of Papua New Guinea Assistant Governor Ellison Piddick launched and presented offer letters to participants stating that the success of a financial institution lies in leveraging technology with skilled human resources. IBBM Dean Dr. Sweta Sood officially presented the course and indicated that the materials cover all important microfinance subjects, and in addition to computer studies, students can use their mobile phones.
When I say fully digital, I would like to highlight that all training material, course material, learning aids, assignments, quizzes are now available to do this course in the online mode, as well as your mobile phone apps.
The program is expected to open doors to building larger and more robust microfinance professionals in the country to serve the country's rural population. The access to gaining an accredited microfinance course is now at the fingertips for the industry and for others interested to pursue a career in the microfinance industry. The online microfinance professional course will run for the next 6 months, with a new batch expected to start mid-2022. Dennis Orere, National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News. More stories when we come back. Welcome back. The untimely death of Rex Wanjing, posted on social media last month, sparked outcry from the public. The 14-year-old was amongst 7 fatalities at the Port Moresby General Hospital. 4 in particular are recorded deaths on the same day, 13th of August 2021. These unexplained deaths enraged citizens. Similarly, when Parliament resumed for the September session, the country's leaders once again questioned the long-standing adversities of the country's health system. Here is tonight's A Closer Look.
Welcome back, my fellow friends. I hope you know that there's a trouble scene going on. Get up, you puppy.
This is 14-year-old Rex Wanjing. So full of life, and judging from this video, you can see a cheerful personality, happy and healthy. His parents say he liked to take videos of himself, and these 2 footages in particular were taken just a few days before his tragic demise. On the 13th of August, Rex was pronounced dead at the Port Moresby General Hospital. For a week after his death, the parents stated they were left clueless as to the cause of their son's death, being told by POMGEN he wasn't the only death on that same day. Rex had a minor ocular cyst on the right eye. No major health condition, just a growth. After lunch hour on the 12th of August, young Rex, accompanied by his mother, was said to have that cyst removed, a minor surgery.
Because his dad said, oh, update me, just send pictures. So I kept snapping him, and I kept sending WhatsApp in his dad with the photos and everything. Then we walked in, and then the doctors told him, oh, Rex boy, the nurse, I think, you have to come in with the canola on your hand. And he was full of life. He walked all the way in. He wasn't sick. Mommy, are you going to be there? And I said, I'm here, I'm always here.
Hours later, young Rex was fighting for his life.
And when they called me back and I went in, the first thing I saw him was he was shaking all over, like he was struggling for his life. So I asked the anesthetic, what happened to my son? I didn't send him like that. He was full of life.
4 days following the fatal event, Secretary for Health Dr. Osborne Liko released a circular number 50 of 2021 recalling an anesthetic called the propofol injection IP. While the circular released exposed loopholes or gave leeway for procurement systems to come under attack, Port Moresby General Hospital released a statement 7 days after the Secretary's circular. In the statement, POMGEN CEO Dr. Paki Malumi stated, and I quote, "These unfortunate events, preliminarily believed to be related to the administration of a batch of anesthetics," end of quote, and adding in the statement, investigations followed suit. Between the 17th of August and the 24th, Rex's family had one meeting with the POMGEN authorities. In the meeting, they were given a medical report which stated Rex the teenager passed on after having developed complications during and after surgery. The report further stated that clinically, Rex was fit to undergo surgery and he was expected to recover fully. Upon the meeting, the family established that there was no coronial inquest called by Port Moresby General Hospital, hence reported to CID on the 24th of August and attained a coroner's order for a post-mortem examination. On the 27th of August, the family engaged Dr. Seth Forsey, a private examiner, to conduct the post-mortem.
We've conducted a full autopsy already, both internal and external and internal examination. We've collected some samples for tissue analysis, and we collected some samples to send overseas for toxicology. Our preliminary findings, we can't release state the exact cause of death because it's pending the tissue and toxicology results. Once we have the tissue and toxicology results, then we'll conclude the findings and give the definite cause of death.
While the family awaits the two critical results, which may take up to 6 months, the country's political leaders have slammed the government on its procurement of drugs and medical equipment.
Parliamentary Committee on Public Accounts into the National Department of Health, and they spend considerable time on the issue of the medicines that we procure for our people, Mr. Speaker. Has Cabinet taken a look at those recommendations, and has it actioned through the Department of Health those serious recommendations in terms of the failures within the national health system?
Former Health Minister and member for Abau followed suit, calling for a PAC inquiry.
The Parliament to deal with it is because ultimately the Parliament is the final accountability level, the highest house in the land, and Parliament has accountability committees. One of them is the Public Accounts Committee, which I believe, in my very strong opinion, really should, the chairman and the deputy chairman really should have picked this up, and the chairman made the voluntary decision early to inquire into this death.
Again on Friday during question time in Parliament, Pomio Open Member and former Health Minister, current Shadow Health Minister Elias Kapavore, started the debate.
I think this is a very important case that must be pursued, and from this opposition, we support the senior pathologist call at PMGH to delay the autopsies or the post-mortems and to call for a coroner's inquiry. When we have 4 people dying in the hospital, Mr. Deputy Speaker, to the Minister of Justice, is that it's a serious issue. We are talking about death of Papua New Guineans. The only investigation that can happen under law is coronial inquiry, not a departmental inquiry,
not a government agency inquiry, colonial inquiry over a death. That's what the member for Papua is asking. Why can't the government commit to that? What is there to hide? A magistrate who shall be appointed to investigate this matter. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
While questions were thrown from across the floor, Minister for Health Jelta Wong made a point of order.
This case is being investigated at the moment at the highest degree of our government. We are a responsible government. We have to ensure that the investigations are done properly. Asking questions in Parliament may preempt a decision that can go wrong. As the Shadow Minister for Health, he should realize that we have processes to be followed.
His point of order deemed out of order by the Speaker. Minister for Justice and Member for Medang Open, Brian Kremer, responded.
I believe this question was raised earlier in this session, but he's asking a specific question in whether the Department of Justice, as a minister responsible, can to direct a coroner's inquest. The answer is yes, in relation to that question. The specifics concerning that case, obviously it's an issue of national interest. And I believe I initially requested information from the Minister for Health, which he actually provided a brief that actually answers some of those questions that you asked in relation to the actual batches, where they came in from. I understand initially it was accused of a company called Borneo, but actually that's, from the findings, is not actually correct. But because it relates specifically in the Health Department, and I will give the opportunity for the Health Minister to issue a public statement, he has actually provided a brief at our request. Once we establish what are the causes of wrongful death, and then the issue of the department to move to a coroner's inquest, and then from there establish the cause of death to be what the actual issue is based on facts, and then the state would then consider whether wrongful death on the side of the state, and also the pharmaceutical company that provided those batches. So those families can be compensated without having to take the state to court on a protracted case, win the case, and still don't get paid. So in that regard, I can give you a commitment by DJ, but again, we can't make actual specific comments until we receive a full investigation. But I welcome the question of the coroner's inquest, and we definitely will consider that. And once we establish what the facts are from the investigation from the health, and we hope in the next month, no later than a month, that some action can be taken in that regard. Thank you.
Prime Minister James Marape, in response to the questions raised, said due care must be given when asking leading and suggestive questions, as investigations are currently underway.
An adequate response has been made on this matter. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to point you to Section 141 of the Standing Orders. When matters are implied or there's an inference without actual substance, and especially in matters of sensitivity like this, due care must be given. Investigations, assurance to our country has already been given. Investigations are underway. We cannot make imputations or inferences whilst awaiting full investigation on this highly sensitive matter.
The unfortunate deaths have raised a lot of questions in terms of the country's health standards and medical procurement systems. Meanwhile, the family of Rex are waiting for the results of the post-mortem. That will cost them about 6,000 to 10,000 kina, as the toxicology will be done in Australia.
Lo family Blangen, what rights do they have to claim against the health system and the state for the unfortunate and terrible loss of this young life, plus the other 6 who were all impacted on the same day by the use of this substandard medication that came through our substandard procurement system?
Serpuka says all expenses relating to Rex should be met by the state.
In terms of this one, the cost have to be borne by the state, because this is a death in a hospital on an unusual situation. So the inquiry confirms that the drugs were of the wrong type and wrong doses were given, and the process didn't comply with the process of procurement, then obviously the state has to take responsibility. And in the process, obviously, we have to compensate the families.
Benjamin and Ryla are still traumatized. According to a Facebook post last night by Ryla, the mother of Rex, she is still trying to deal with the trauma of losing her son. At the end of the post, calling for help to seek justice for the young Rex.
If we have to have justice for him, then let get justice, so it won't happen to other kids like that.
It has to be an eye-opener to other, people.
Other innocent lives.
At least somebody has to go in there to see all the process and procedures, how they do these things. At least there should be some checks and balances before conducting any major operation or minor operation. Because what happened here is a clear indication that even if you're well and you go into the theater, you can still suffer the same fate. So what does that guarantee all the patients there at the hospital, their lives?
You're watching National EMTV News. More stories after the break. Welcome back to the news. The NCD and Central Command recently held a planning workshop to put together a divisional plan for the command. This plan, once developed, will help improve policing in NCD and Central Province. The week-long workshop was held in Sogeri, Central Province.
The strategic planning workshop saw senior police officers from the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary and other stakeholders in attendance. The workshop is to gauge views and put together a strategic plan that will help improve policing in NCD and Central Province. It was funded by the Australian Federal Police. ACP NCD and Central Anthony Wagonee Jr. was satisfied with this workshop.
So when the divisional plan comes out, when you have a look at it, you know that that's your plan. And we put three points at them. We didn't write it from DHQ. You wrote it for us. So that is your plan. It's our plan. And we will move forward.
In this workshop, various plans on how to improve policing were drafted. But as the need to expand and improve policing rises, there are also challenges. For NCD Metropolitan Command, the ratio of police to citizen is 1 policeman to over 1,200 citizens. Other challenges include lack of logistic support and uniforms.
Good policemen per population, one policeman could be policing about 1,250. Okay. The 7 police stations that we have, most of them have only one vehicle.
With the Metsup and the PPC coming up with their plan to move their commands with their own requirements. The Metsup has a Metropolitan Command, NCD has their own requirements. They've got their own challenges. Mostly in general, but then there are different challenges how you take it. Like
the NCD Metropolitan Superintendent also highlighted some smarter policing methods in his presentation, and that includes community engagement, use of technology, infrastructure and logistic support. He says public perception on the work of the police is important to gain public confidence. The RP and GC have been working in partnership with Australian Federal Police to improve policing in the country, and their relationship is built on mutual respect and trust. A representative from the Australian Federal Police also commended the Divisional Command on this initiative. He says planning provides the foundation of what is to come in the future.
You've identified the need for your public and police partnerships, and it was very encouraging to see how you transferred that into your corporate plan and put some strategies in place in terms of how you want to progress that in the future.
Rayon Lakingu National, EMTV News.
ACP NCD Central Anthony Wagonee Jr. has highlighted the need for the police to work together with the community. He says public perception on the work they do is important to build public trust and confidence in the force. Wagonee says by working with the community, they will understand the challenges various communities are facing and better policing methods can be developed to address these challenges.
We must go to the community. Like we said yesterday, most of us, about 97% of us in the room here Our first and only job has been in the police force. We don't know what it's like to be in the community. So that's why we must interact with the people we serve so we understand where they're coming from. We live in police barracks. It's a safe environment. People live in the community, amongst others. For them, they need us to serve them well. You see. So there's a lot of more community interactions so that we understand how our people are, how they want us to serve them, and we understand the problems they face, and we understand what they think about us. Public perception, winning confidence and trust, it makes our job much easier. So we say it from the beginning, and we heard it over and over and over again. So it's drilled into us, so we understand now.
The UPNG School of Law has recently conducted its grand final moot court competition at the Wagonee main campus. Reaching its 32nd year, the competition was named after late and retired PNG judge Simbu Kidu. Hosted by the Law Students Society, the final round of competition saw the listed rookies that contested against the Mayenduo litigators.
After a very tough round since the competition commenced, the moot court competition made its final countdown as two teams went head-to-head at the main lecture theatre at the UPNG main campus. The competition, named after one of PNG's well-known judges, late Simbu Kidu, registered around 16 teams for the competition alone in this year, which proceeded with the elimination rounds until the grand finale. Two teams, listed rookies consisting of second-year law students and Mayenduo litigators, a team made up of students from the Momase region, went head-to-head in the grand final competition. President of Law Student Society, Benietta Shalom Wagonee, clarified that the competition has seen law students come out of their comfort zones to present hypothetical cases before the actual lawyers.
So the purpose of the moot competition is basically to assist us aspiring lawyers and students to build our advocacy skills and confidence and familiarize ourselves more with the practical approach towards studying all the theory that we do in the 4 years of the degree that we do here.
Finalist and Licit Rookies member Shanice Paraka explained that although it was a tough ride, her team managed to pull through into the finals.
Well, the biggest challenge for us, being primarily a second-year team, we haven't covered some areas of law that we will be learning in third and final year. So the biggest challenge in that was trying to understand the moot problems that we were attacking during this moot competition.
As a final year law student and representing the Mayenduo litigators, Eiton Yagas was privileged to lead a group of Momase students into the finals.
When you take part in the moot court, it's not all about making it to the finals and getting your name on the trophy and all that. The most important takeout you get from the moot court is the advocacy skills, the courage, learning how to think on your feet when you get asked questions by judges, and all those skills necessary for to equip you in your future career as being a lawyer, especially the litigation skills.
The winner of the mooting competition will be announced before the end of the academic year. Jamie Harrow, National EMTV News.
Former Central Governor and member of the National Alliance Party, Alphonse Mori, has backed up intending candidate for the Central Regional seat, Rufina Peter, for the 2022 National General Elections. A traditional ceremony conducted by the people of Goilala was initiated to mark this event in Port Moresby yesterday.
Serving under the National Alliance Party then and now former Central Governor Alphonse Mori officially called it quits as he transferred the mantle of his political leadership roles to Rufina Peter as his successor and candidate for the National Alliance Party. The transfer was done through a Goilala ceremonial practice where the power was transferred to Miss Peter before the clan chiefs from Goilala. This will be the first time for the people of Goilala to have a female candidate represent them and contest the Central Governor seat in the upcoming national elections. Due to his medical conditions, the two-term former governor has decided to step down, however acknowledged the people of Goilala to back Miss Peter.
San talking to finish. Bigim strong lo me lo. Bigim Miguel finish lo anemia. Lo lead him all people of Central Province. And me just how much of them all family all support me lo Central Province all still support me. Now morning that's all me looking to come stop sleep sinan what me lo house here lo up me sleep here. All kiram no talking me. Na me talk me no like me no got lo roll lo anemia. Sick for me. Important.
As an intending candidate, Ms. Peter acknowledged the support from the former governor and the people. She said despite having the norms of allowing the mantle of leadership being passed from a chief to a new chief, this breaks the barrier by having a woman to represent her people in terms of politics.
Traditional culture emi staff, you may look save or sem logoilala chieftain culture. Papa am giving strong blonem, inheritance blo chieftaincy bloem, igolo picking in a man. One am something in me witnessing lo here, a more spiritual foundation. MCM been talk penis, and me look save, lo this la vision, and Papa God and mandate him Alphonse Moroy, lo come up governor. Now Emi save him Central Province with distinction for 2 terms. Now because lo age blo em, the sickness blo em, he chose to give it to a daughter. Em could give him lo picking in a man, but he chose to give it to a daughter, for which I am grateful.
After the traditional ceremony, the political leadership is now in the hands of Rufina Peter. She will contest for one of the 22 seats reserved for women under the National Alliance Party, led by Aitapelumi MP Patrick Pruich. Jamie Harrow, National EMTV News.
Trukai Sports is next. All the details after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. With a week away from the National School Rugby League or NSRL Championships, most regions in the country have completed their zone trials. The Southern Region Confederate hosted trial games yesterday at the Pomis Oval to select their squad in preparation for the championships.
The NSRL zone trials for Southern Region began yesterday with select sides from schools in Mosby Northeast, Mosby South, Mosby Northwest and Motukoita competing in the 2-day trials. The participating divisions for boys are under 14, 16 and 18, while the girls are participating in the under 18 division only. This program is a pathway to develop and prepare rugby league players at a junior level.
But it's just important to see that we have a pathway happening for the children to come through, and that's important for PNG Rugby League also to have identify the next lot of talent coming through both in the female and male areas.
A selection committee led by Nigel Ukula were present to identify and select 20 players from the respective divisions to represent Southern Region at the NSRL Championships.
So basically, Thompson Tete and along with Coach Michael Marum were out here to assist in having a look at the players and what they have to offer, and also just to get some names for the 14s, 16s and 18s girls and boys teams.
The competition, organized by the PNG RFL, adheres to COVID-19 protocols to ensure a smooth flow of games.
I think it's important that we comply with COVID and things like that, but also getting the pathways up through all the sporting codes. And it's important that our children keep participating in some way or another to keep them active, both mentally and physically. But you know, for rugby league itself, I'd like to commend the coordinator Arnold Krawanti as well as Toxinema for getting these tournaments up and running.
With the conclusion of regional trials, the Kumul Petroleum-sponsored National School Rugby League Championships is scheduled on the third term school holiday.
The National Champions is scheduled for the third term break for the school holidays, which I think as per the school calendar, it runs from the 20th of September to the 24th of December. The under 14 plays on the 20th. The under 16 on the 21st, under 18 boys on the 22nd and the under 18 boys on the 23rd.
Suli Trukai Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. We take a look at the weather when we come back.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
Weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Southern region, Port Moresby partly cloudy with brief afternoon showers and thunderstorms possible. Daru cloudy and windy with brief showers. Kerma brief afternoon showers. Alotau cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorms. Popondetta few afternoon showers. Momasi region, Ley brief evening showers. Medang fine. Wewak and Vanimo mostly fine. New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau and Kavieng few afternoon showers. Kokopo, Robal partly cloudy. Kimbe partly cloudy with brief showers. Buka brief afternoon showers. For the Highlands region, all centers morning fog clearing, then few afternoon showers.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's the news, sports and weather for today, Sunday, 12th of September 2021. Until next time, have a pleasant week ahead. Be safe. Bye for now.